When something that traumatic happens to you as your son committing suicide, the wound heals, but the scars will always remain.
If you would like to share some thoughts about Siddharth, sir.
Siddharth was a very brilliant young man. Doctors in Montreal finally diagnosed him as schizophrenic. I tried my best, we tried our best to battle this, but in the end, I lost. The family suffer as much as the person who's suffering the affliction. It's important for families to remember that no matter what the person's suffering, don't stop loving. Society is very judgmental, and this was, I think, Parveen's big problems, that she knew she had this problem, but she didn't want to admit it even to herself, because if she admitted it to herself, she'd have to admit doctors into her life. Hi, I'm Kabir Bedi, and you're watching an exclusive interview with me done by Faridoon on Hungama on my book, Stories I Must Tell, The Emotional Life of an Actor.
So you've dedicated the book, dedicated to all young techies like my son Siddharth and all the young people who want to change the world for the better, hoping you fulfill your dreams. If you would like to share some thoughts about Siddharth, sir.
You know, Siddharth was a very brilliant young man. He was admitted to the Carnegie Mellon University, which was the mecca of Infotech college. Everybody in the tech business wanted to get into. He was exceptional in his abilities. And then suddenly one day, he couldn't think. The world was waiting him. A brilliant career in the digital world awaited him. Suddenly he couldn't think. And he tried so hard, and we tried so hard first to figure out what was wrong. And for 3 years, we battled these unknown ghosts. And eventually he had this extremely violent breakout on the streets of Montreal where it took 8 policemen to nail him down. And then the doctors in Montreal finally diagnosed him as schizophrenic. And then he came to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, I tried my best, we tried our best to battle this. But in the end, it was a battle that I lost because he chose to go. He chose to commit suicide because he just couldn't bear the world that schizophrenia created for him. And writing that chapter on him is one of the most difficult things for me to do. But I told it like it was. And what I want to share in that chapter is that not only the pain that people who have, or the trauma that people who have schizophrenia suffer, but what people who look after them have to deal with, the families that surround them, that have to adjust to them. Because the person they're seeing is not the person they knew. The person they're seeing is behaving more irrationally, is behaving more uncontrollably, is behaving more unpredictably. And they're constantly trying to adjust to this. So the families suffer as much as the person who's suffering the affliction. It's important for families to remember that no matter what the person's suffering, don't stop loving that person, because at subconscious level, they receive that love and they're nourished by that love. In Siddharth's case, he was so bright that he realized that he wouldn't be able to think like he used to. And I think he decided it was a life he didn't want to lead. Today, medicines are much better. Today, the efficacy of cures is much higher. In those days, his medicines weren't working for him. And so it was an amazingly deep emotional journey that I went with him through the last few months of his life, but one that I wanted to write about so that people can share what that experience is like, how to deal with it, and the compassion that needs to be shown to the family that deal with people with these problems as well. That's my writing this chapter.
So one thing that I really admired about this chapter was that you actually mentioned certain details that he said about you, which were not maybe that flattering, but you actually included it in your book.
Yeah,
you could have easily not included them. You could have easily shown yourself as someone who had really nothing to do because it is a certain element, a certain ailment that beyond a point one can't do anything.
Yes.
Now, why was it important for you to include certain details the way Siddharth felt?
You know, that's what happened. That's what he said or didn't say. Sometimes what he didn't say affected me more than what he said. And I could have cut it out. It would have been very easy, very convenient. But there are such things as awkward truths. And this was an awkward truth. And I chose to include it because, as I said to myself even at that time, he is not himself. This is not Siddharth in his normal state. Something has changed deep inside him. And this is what's coming out. And I have to deal with this. It's not about me, it's about him. So if I make an ego issue of it, I fail to understand what's happening. I have to rise above that and say, no, it's about him. And the story is also about him. And I will tell it the way it happened, warts and all, even if it hurts me. Because I know I certainly tried my best, but I'm human too. And of course, the guilt that one suffers when somebody in your family commits suicide is enormous. No matter how much you've tried, no matter how good you've been, because you always feel that there's something you could have done to save that person's life. Why had you failed to convince him to live? Why had you not stopped him when you could in some way? You know, there's always guilt. And you have to learn to deal with that guilt as well, because when something that traumatic happens to you, as your son committing suicide, the wound heals, but the scars will always remain. And you have to learn to live with them. Because that's too deep an experience to go away. It will always remain in some way.
So one of the takeaways of the book is that you've had experiences with two people who are extremely close to you, Parveen Babi and Siddharth, who dealt with mental illness. Why do you think it is important to have a proper conversation on mental health? Why do we shy away?
Because society is very judgmental. And this was, I think, Parveen's big problems, that she knew she had this problem, but she didn't want to admit it even to herself, because if she admitted it to herself, she'd have to admit doctors into her life, which she didn't want. If she admitted doctors into her life, they would talk. Soon the industry would come to know, and suddenly she'd be an outcast. She was a girl that came to Bombay to buy a home and a car and got into this profession and fell in love with the profession and became a diva. But the fear was always that if the industry abandons you, where do you go? How do you support yourself? How do you live? And what will you do? So she kept that. She went into denial over the fact that she had any problems. And getting her to admit that was one of the biggest issues, right to the end. So there is a natural hesitancy in anybody, any family, any society, to talk about mental illness because it leads to such stigmas. And I feel this is wrong, because a mental condition it's a condition. It is treatable. If it's not treatable, it's containable. It's controllable. They liken it to diabetes, not treatable, but manageable. And therefore, this kind of thing is very cruel, because nobody just becomes pagal for the sake of pagal because there's some bhoot that's entered them. There are deeper reasons, and we must understand this and also have far greater compassion for people with mental health problems and the families that support them. We should not treat it as something that is a stigma. We don't treat people with diabetes with stigma. Why should we treat people with mental health problems with stigmas? We should stop that. Hi, I'm Kabir Bedi, and you're watching an exclusive interview with me done by Faridoon on Hungama on my book, Stories I Must Tell, The Emotional Life of an Actor.